Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about a bizarre and really unimpressive brief that Trump filed through his lawyer, John Sawyer, who is poised to be the next Solicitor General when Trump takes office in the Supreme Court in the TikTok case. So let me try to explain why this is such a kind of yokel product and why it's going to make the Supreme Court scratch its head and really, I think, use up a lot of credibility from Sawyer, who, as the Solicitor General, that's going to be his stock in trade, whether or not the Supreme Court has faith in him and respects him. Okay, the TikTok case. So Congress passes a statute and it says that social media controlled by foreign adversaries are banned. As of the law goes into effect January 19th, the day before inauguration. And TikTok, there's not much controversy. There's a lot of controversy, but there's not much controversy that's controlled by China. China an adversary, so the law covers it. So under the terms of this law, as of the 19th, you can't use TikTok anymore. It's banned in the U.S., etc. That, people may still do it, but it becomes against the law. Okay, so that prompts a huge case in the Supreme Court. Everybody sort of jumping into the pool, and will we actually ban TikTok? And the court has responded with alacrity and done as it often does, not, however, little bitter aside in the immunity case, but as it often does, sets things on a very fast track. And it is going to hear the challenge to the law on January 10th. It said it specially and quickly, etc. So that case is now on the docket, and there's a whole series of briefs. The Solicitor General, the current Solicitor General, Elizabeth Prelogar, who works for the Biden administration, as is her institutional duty, defends the law and says, look, it is more than justified based on the security concerns that an adversary can exploit if they have penetrated the market with their social app. And there's a whole sort of back and forth and dispute about what level of scrutiny to apply. You're probably familiar with that concept by now, but does it have to meet the highest scrutiny, which the regulation under the First Amendment of speech typically does? And that's a very hard scrutiny to prevail under, and so the law would be imperiled. But there's the argument, including from the Solicitor General, no, this isn't strict scrutiny. Anyway, that's what's going on in the case. But last week, Donald Trump parachutes into the case with an amicus brief. And it's an amicus brief filed on his behalf, and as I say, written by John Sawyer, the Solicitor General to date. And the brief is completely imbecilic. So first, it lays out ridiculous kind of blandishments and praise of Trump. He knows social media better than anyone. He, with his consummate deal-making chops, is alone positioned to be able to resolve this controversy. He has the political ability now and the sort of mandate of the people, and therefore, the great and wonderful Donald Trump can take care of this. So that's the first half of the brief, which is relevant for no particular reason at all, except for the standard demand by Trump of his advisors that they totally kiss his ring and tout his singular abilities, etc. This is, remember, in his first presidency, how he would rank himself often as the greatest president in U.S. history, perhaps Lincoln, but otherwise him. Okay, that's half the brief. So that is, if nothing else, like off-putting, completely kind of self-serving, and has to, make justices sort of ignore it and be somewhat irked by this PR pamphlet. It gets worse from there, though, because then Trump asks for the court to do something. What's that? Just keep the law on ice for a little bit. It's just unfortunate that it's going into effect on the 19th rather than the 20th when Trump is president. Just hold back on it a little until he gets there so he can solve the problem and work out a political compromise. He's been in touch with TikTok. He can make it happen, etc. One little problem. This is a completely bizarre and crazy request of the Supreme Court. Congress has passed a law. The law says it goes into effect January 19th. The Supreme Court can't just countermand Congress and say, I know they said January 19th, but we're going to make it January 26th so the great and powerful Donald Trump can come on the scene and solve our national problems. The court has the power to find legal infirmity and on that basis suspend the operation of the law because it concludes that when the argument comes before them, the challenge to the law is likely to prevail. So, there are legal reasons why they can do it, but only legal reasons. They're not a free-floating policy body that just makes the judgment, it'll be good for the country to hold off for a while so Donald Trump can ride to the rescue. There's no such power for them, and the mere suggestion that there is strikingly unsophisticated, and they have to, receive this and say, what the hell? What's the basis? Are there cases here? There are none that you can point to and say, you have to, or you're able to even put it on hold. They're not. So it's a really jerky brief in a couple ways. One, it just, totally praises him with propaganda for the maximum leader. And then two, it offers up a non-legal proposal for the court to do something that has no power to do and never has done. And again, this is the guy who's going to have to now go forward, represent the Department of Justice in the Supreme Court as the lead person there in all the big cases, and not a good way to get out of the box and be on firm footing with the court that has to be thinking, if this guy is saying this to us now, he doesn't understand, or we fear he just doesn't understand what this job is about, or the difference between saying, please undertake something you can do legally and do something that you can do policy-wise. Or maybe they conclude he knows the difference. I mean, Sauer is not a yokel, and he's had some good arguments, but it's just as bad if he knows the difference, in some ways worse. But Donald Trump told him, do a brief, show how great I am, and ask for a delay. And Sauer was unable to explain to him this isn't something he can't do, and so he's forced to do it. Either way, it doesn't bode well for the sort of credibility and good capital of the Solicitor General, which is really the whole stock in trade. And it's a complete whiff of a brief for the actual TikTok case that, as I say, is going to be argued January 10th. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.